Good evening, dandies. Welcome to Undetermined, the podcast.
You don't speak for me!
How we doing tonight, guys?
Hey, how is everybody?
Doing well.
We've been excited to have you. We wanted to have you guys back on for a long time. So this is Red Kate, everyone. We got Andrew and Shawn.
Hello, Pod World.
We missed you guys. You're the last show I saw before all the shit went down.
Oh, that's right. You were at that show. That was at Davies, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. We were supposed to actually. We had shows scheduled. We had a show scheduled March 13th, the day everything shut down here. Started shutting down here at Davies. That was going to be Dez's last show.
Oh yeah.
It was and that it was that week that somebody got diagnosed. I think a guy in I think what it was when that guy in Wyandotte County, they said, he died of COVID and he had not left his nursing home in years. And they're like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
remember
Maybe
that
this is a problem.
And we're like, well, guys, I think we're done.
Yeah.
And we're like, there's this discussion with the other bands. We're like, should we do this? I'm like, dude, I don't know. And then before we even had a chance to decide, everybody else Brick just canceled the show. We're like,
Yeah. The whole weekend got canceled, just like one show after another. So.
Yeah, it was just like the dominoes started to fall. And
So many people got hit with that shit. We had our friend Adam Casto from Nerd Table had their first vinyl was set to release, and that night,
shit.
Yeah.
Yep.
he had a big party planned, and
Big show. Yeah. That sucks. Man, it's been a while back.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're at 10 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
So, the thing for us we had been working on a tour in Europe for 2 years. I mean, I've been trying to book it once before, couldn't do it. We spent all the fall of 2019 booking, and we finally had made some contacts, and we booked a couple of shows. We had one of them was supposed to be that night. That was going to be the second. We had a date booked that night, and we had that weekend booked in Europe going into the beginning of January, and we couldn't get the other weekend booked. And so we called it in early January and said, well, we're not going to be able to do the tour. Yeah. And, if we'd have landed one more show on that week, on the following weekend, we were going to go ahead and go with it and just start booking flights and all that stuff and just keep trying to book the last remaining shows up until we left town. So we kind of we really dodged a bullet.
Right. Sometimes bad luck is good luck.
If we'd have booked one more show, we'd have potentially been either committed to that stuff and then out a lot of money, or been over there when it all shut down. So
that was right where they weren't letting people back home. So they were, I don't know if they were forcibly quarantining or what it was, but I forget. But yeah, we could have been left over in Europe we'd still be in Europe. So
probably.
Come on.
Unless somebody send you a boat.
You guys have accents now.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well,
hopefully that'll come around and you'll still get a chance to do it, and maybe it'll be better. People will definitely be ready to see shows.
Yeah.
When all this shit's over.
Yeah. If there's any venues left, they'll be busy. The ones that are still open are going to be busy, I hope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you heard anything new with Davies? What's going on with them?
Not really. I know. I've seen photos online and stuff about the progress of the rebuild and stuff. I figure, that's So that happened a couple of days.
Yeah.
The week before, or
yeah.
It was right before. Yeah.
I think it was that whole week and everything. It was that weekend because I went over there the next morning after I heard the news. Yeah, I don't know. I figured, they'll be in the best shape of everybody, probably. I mean,
yeah, it might end up being a blessing for them. I was so worried about them.
Yeah.
Good on it for rebuilding. So
yeah, I mean, at least they had insurance money this past year.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah.
Well, you had Chris with arson class. We joked about that when we had him on the last show before they burned down. It was arson class. Opening for you guys.
One of the only band stickers that survived the fire that we saw when we saw pictures. Inside was like arson class, right? Give him a hard time about that.
I don't know. You guys don't know if this, because nobody may know this yet, because we really haven't. But Chris took Dez's spot in the band. Yeah. So Chris is now the lead guitar player for us.
That's awesome.
Although calling us a band at this point, when we've had how many practices, Andy, in the last 10 months?
5, 6, maybe.
Something.
Yeah.
It's tough.
And not for want of trying, or it's just been like, we kind of let it ride for a while and to see what would happen, and then we kind of figured out a way to do it safely, because everybody in the band's pretty much kind of on the same page with taking care of each other and being smart about it. So we decided to start practicing again, and then it was kind of like, oh, we know somebody that knows somebody, so we got to cancel practice, and then it's just been like that for months now. So it's like once a month, maybe. I don't know when the last time we practiced.
It was before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, we've had them on the schedule, and then the holidays came, and the numbers started creeping up. So we were kind of like, let's just see what happens and be safe. And
so something you might look into it. I can't remember what it's called, but we were talking to Chris McGrew from Griddle last week. He was telling us, I think it was Stanford, just came up with a software that if you're within like 200 miles of each other, there's virtually no lag time if you want to jam online together. So everybody could stay home.
We've tried a bunch like that. Not really that per se, but we've been demoing a lot of songs and stuff like that digitally, and then sharing them in the old Google Drive routine.
Sure.
Yeah. What's that stuff called? I know that, obviously you watch like Colbert or something. He's got his whole band is playing in a different place simultaneously. Like, how do they? What's the software called?
I'll have to go back and listen to it. I can't remember what he said it was.
Is it affordable? Is the other question.
Yeah, I really don't know, but I'm pretty sure he said Stanford came up with it. So I don't know if it's like a service or if it's like you pay straight up for the software, or how that works.
Jack Trip.
That sounds maybe right.
Jack Trip software allows musicians to sync. Stanford News.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we may look at. We think we're practicing next week, but that's days from now. Who knows what could happen?
Right.
We may have to look into this at some point. It's been tough. I've been writing songs, and we've we had some songs we recorded last January that we haven't finished. We got them mostly recorded over at Weights and Measures with Dwayne. I've written like 3-4 others that we've been played a few times. I've got 3 or 4 that the guys haven't even heard yet. It's frustrating.
Yeah.
I was going to say, according to the article, Into This Breach has stepped a free open source software called developed by Stanford University. In virtually real-time sound streaming over the internet. In this way, Jack Trip can often reduce latency to a threshold of 25 milliseconds. So, yeah.
That's pretty good.
That's quick. Huh. All right. Well, this has already been valuable. Thanks, guys.
All right. Well,
we're done. We got stuff to do. Bye, guys.
Sure. See you later. Thanks, everybody. Check that out. Jack Trip, Stanford.
Well, hopefully all the frustrations go into some of that songwriting and come out with something good.
Oh, we had plenty of frustrations even before COVID. So.
What?
So.
Yeah.
I never see you guys venting online, ever.
I've been trying to stay off.
Yeah, I go back and forth. I know you'll jump on and argue with my cousin with me every now and then. That's always fun.
Is that who that is?
Yeah.
I wonder why you put up with it.
That's the only reason I put up with it. He's my cousin.
Yep.
Yeah. Most of my family does not know my social media handle, so I don't know forward about it.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I've cleaned mine out. Even of family.
Talk about pissing up a rope. I mean, debating on it is just
No, the problem is you naturally, if you have any intelligence, want to use logic for the argument, and it has no place in their conversation.
No, and so and when I'm feeling my best, I can try to come up with something funny, and like that only certain people will understand as I put down. The person who reads it doesn't understand that I just put them down.
Right.
But that's hard to do. I'm not that witty. People are really good at it, but
I like to make Jesus references. Because they're always like hardcore. Yeah. Oh, I'm super Christian, but they spew all this venom and bullshit that has nothing aligned with Christianity at all if you look at it. And I'm like, that's just like Jesus. And they usually go quiet.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, it's been just absolutely insane. Really digging the story on the Reddit Robin Hood.
Oh yeah.
Scandal this week too. God, a load of shit. But knock me over with a feather.
Well, I mean, it's suicidal performance art. I mean, this is all we're left with.
Right.
All we're left with. Because they're going to get crushed. I mean, the thing is, even if Robin Hood didn't do what it did to those Reddit kids or people, whatever they are, you can't pump and dump a stock and get rich.
Right.
Some people will. The vast majority will get hosed because this is going to bust on them, and they're not going to be quick enough. All the people out there with the computer arbitrage, programs are going to fucking sell the minute shit starts to go.
Mm-hmm.
And so they squeezed that one hedge fund pretty well. Okay, great. Those guys all got what was coming to them. But some other hedge fund has just already shorted every position they're at now because now it is way overvalued. Maybe you could argue it was before, but it sure as fuck is now.
Well,
it
was always going to remain overvalued too. Because let's just look at what's going on out there. GameStop. I mean, when's the last time you've been to a GameStop? Everybody's buying. They were betting on what they knew was going to happen. Is the fact that everybody's buying games by Amazon or consoles or anything else. And it's just, I mean, it wasn't just like let's doom them with bad juju. It was like no, it's obviously a failing goddamn industry.
Well, and I don't think the main purpose for most people was to make money in doing that. It was more of a fuck you.
Yeah.
And if you, as long as you can afford the your fuck you, then that's fine. It's just one of those things where it's just like, this is like whatever. If you want to do something to really fuck with the man, I mean, form a union, go on strike, do something. But you were able to screw. I mean, you're not going to win that game.
Yeah,
you're not going to win that game, and a whole bunch of other hedge funds just are going to make a whole bunch more money off it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you just made a bunch of other people rich. Those guys got screwed, but a bunch of other rich people made a lot more money. But that's the problem we have. We don't have any sense of how this shit works.
Right.
I mean, DIY has been turned into everybody's an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, indie DIY ethic is a bootstrapping way to keep yourself alive and take care of shit and avoid all the bastards. Well, now they've just co-opted that. They already co-opted their music. They co-opted the lifestyle, the life, the look, and the style of it, and the art. And so now what's left? Oh, let's just co-opt the whole ethic in the first place. We'll turn everybody into a point of light, and you're all an entrepreneur, and you're all on your fucking own.
Yeah.
And so now we think that rebellion is because you're trading stocks on Reddit.
Right.
Whatever. Fucking.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know. Give me another drink.
I had no idea this was going to get you upset. I'm sorry.
No, I actually kind of find it fascinating.
No, it was a setup.
No, it is. It's really interesting.
Because it isn't even, everybody's so excited about it. And I'm like, oh, I feel so sad for you.
Yeah.
Right. We can do better than that.
We could do a hell of a lot better than that.
Well, it's a good point that I don't think a lot of people are recognizing is you're putting it through a cultural lens. I don't think we're there yet. Or a lot of people aren't there yet. And a lot of the people who are following it just really have no idea what happened in the first place.
Right.
And never will get what happened in the first place.
I think the thing that I'm taking from it that I enjoy is it does at least make the statement that if people work together, they can do some pretty big things and make some pretty significant changes and affect things.
Yeah, that is the one lesson out of this that I would hope people could say, let's apply this to something else than which we... Because what's the end game? So when you're doing organizing, you have to have an end game. Like if you want to take an action...
Right.
You got to have an out, right? Like, what was the end game with those idiots at the Capitol? They didn't have one. They failed so miserably, right? So there's no end game here with GameStop. It ends up going to be an interesting story and footnote, but it's effectively going to do probably nothing.
Yeah.
You know, and be worse than nothing in some ways, because I think a lot of people are going to lose a lot of money, unfortunately.
Yeah.
The suckers are going to come in and say, "Oh, I should get in on this deal," and they're not going to know what's going on.
No, I think there are going to be a lot of people thinking, okay, I can figure out the stock market now.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's like anything now. You're going to forget about it here in a month, whenever.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll hang on to a little knowledge for longer than a week.
Yeah. What else are we going to talk about?
What's going on musically, man? What's anything at all? Or just in limbo right now?
Well, we're, like Shawn was saying, we're kind of in a weird spot because we are in like physical limbo. But it was funny because we hadn't written a lot of songs, or they weren't just like kind of flying out in a couple of years now. And then all of a sudden this hit, and then Shawn seems to have like a renaissance of ideas, or whatever you want to call it.
Hmm.
We haven't heard most of these ideas.
He says they're there.
Yeah, he swears they're there, but yeah, if we can all get in the same room, I'm sure it'll kind of come back to us. Working Chris into has been kind of like doing double duty because the first couple practices back we're kind of like see where everybody's at, and he came super prepared, which he filled in on a weekend up to Minneapolis before with us, so we kind of knew what we were getting with him. But the learning the old stuff didn't take quite that long. But it's kind of more writing is a lot different animal, and when you're not playing live and you're not kind of like syncing it live and learning what you like and what you don't like about a song live, or in the practices working up to the show, it's kind of difficult. And with going straight from like, do you know the old stuff to,
yeah,
and then then we'll practice like 2 weekends in a row, take a month off, against our will, and then for practice back is like, hey, what is this?
These guys can't remember anything.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, no, we did it 3 times. No, it's 4. Four times here, and we did 4 here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and well, plus, I can't remember the old songs, and it's like we gotta play the old ones so we can warm up, and like, how the fuck you forget how that shit goes, and it's just like,
yeah.
And we remember that Sean Hammondtree hasn't learned some of her songs.
Still, yeah, like, dude.
Yeah.
Like, there's songs that Chris knows that Sean doesn't know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it kind of seems like everybody's on the, it's not just Red Kate. It seems like everybody's kind of like, what do we do now? And,
yeah,
with the record label with Black Site that we've been doing, we've kind of been interacting with a lot of different people.
Yeah, you got No Thanks.
Yeah.
Seeing where they're at, too, is kind of like, what, we're going to be fine. It's just a matter of getting a couple practices in and get a show, really just getting a show booked and like making us kind of give us a little bit of a carrot to follow. But
yeah,
the label has been busy.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that
here the last 6 months. We had a lot of stuff going in. We had a lot of bands who we knew going into a year ago were working on stuff and have been talking to us, and we've been talking with them. It's like, okay, we're going to spread you out over the year. And then, of course, it all went to hell, and then nothing happened. And the next thing was, okay, now what do you want to do as a band? And all the bands were like debating, do you go ahead and put the record out in this midsummer with the idea that or by fall, because maybe by fall this will pass. Like everybody's still, remember I was in the spring, like, okay, summer's here, and maybe it's going to go away, and we'll get a handle on this thing. And then, you started to see how everybody was behaving in June, and you're like,
yeah,
no. This ain't going away. We're fucked, and I started. Right. So I'm like, guys, I look at this stuff for the first 3 months. I mean, every day first thing I did was look at all the data.
Yeah.
Look at the numbers, look at the trends, look at the trend lines. And it's like, oh man, this isn't good. This isn't good. And so, most of the bands at that point said, yeah, I don't think this is going to last a lot longer than we think.
Yeah.
No Thanks was the farthest along, and they said, well, we want to go ahead and put our record out and just see what happens. So theirs went out in October on Halloween, and they're a great band out of Omaha. We played a few shows now with them up there and down here. And I mean, it's a stellar record. It's their first vinyl release. It's their first time in a big studio. They've done home basement recordings before, and it's a powerful record. It's getting good reviews, getting good reception. They sold out of their color vinyl by the time we released the record.
Oh wow!
So it's done really well for us. We've been real happy about that. That's been out since October. We just announced the Chess Club record.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Lawrence. Do you guys know them at all yet? Are you familiar with them?
I checked out the link that you sent out. I really haven't gotten any more familiar with them than that yet, though.
Yeah, they're young kids out of Lawrence. I think are they all now 21? I think, Andy. I think by now might be. They've been playing since high school together, the trio.
Yeah, we did a tape earlier a couple of years ago, and they're really talented. And this is kind of like the No Thanks thing. They went in and they recorded with Dwayne and they had their first real studio experience, and it was kind of cool to see them go through all that and try to help them through mixing and all the little stuff that we've spent copious amounts of money and time on.
Right.
And they went in there 6 days and recorded 12 songs. That kills me. I'm just like,
wow.
God, what are we doing?
Bye.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, this was one of those things where they only had 8 songs ready. Initially, it was going to be a very short album. And when it kind of became apparent that let's don't be in a hurry to put this record out, they're like, okay, and we got these 4 new songs we haven't finished yet. So next thing I don't hear from them for a while. I'm like, yeah, we booked more time in the studio. We're going to finish the other 4 songs. And it was a great idea because the 4 songs they added really made the record.
Nice.
To me. So now they got a good 12-song record, and actually, kind of going to work. I think it's going to work out for them that they had this extra time. So, and we also did what we're all over the map right now too, because we did a sort of this hardcore goth punk band with No Thanks. Chess Club is very much an emo, kind of mathy sort of sound, big swashy guitars and weird time signature turnarounds. And then we're doing Fred Wickham Caravan, which is just straight up pure Americana country rock and roll stuff, and
very tongue in cheek stuff.
Yeah, lots of good stuff. I mean, Fred's lyrics are just something else. They were down in Muscle Shoals finishing up a record with Jimmy Nutt at Nut House Recording Studios, and then the pandemic hit, and they were like 90% done with the record. Eventually, I think they went down several months later, sometime in late summer, and finished the tracking, and they got a couple of songs done, and we put out a couple of singles. They made videos. They've been making videos with Marco Pasqualini doing the videos for them, and so we put out a couple of videos over the fall for them, and their record is about to go to press soon. Go get cut. They finally got the whole thing mastered, and we're trying to get all the files together and get that. So that'll hopefully come out by late summer.
Nice.
With that, we'll have completed our trip around the musical world. We don't have no reggae records yet, but
if we find one, we'll send them your way.
If I hear a reggae band I like, I'd put it out. They're very rare.
With Fred's album, we're just serving as another pair of ears, and we were kind of chatting about how much we like this album and how different it is from a lot of the stuff, and we were just like, you know what, it's just, if it's good, it's good. Just try to put out as much good stuff as you can, and genres don't really matter. I mean, I think it's a good sample of what's kind of going on right now in town. So
yeah, I think that's pretty much key. You look at some of the best indie labels out there when they've got their fingers in a little bit of everything.
Yeah,
you can pick up on different markets that way, and pick up on crossover and weirdos, and
that's what we hope.
Yeah, collect those weirdos.
If you're just into the genre specific stuff, you might like one band and then listen to the rest of our stuff and go, what the hell are they doing? But
yeah,
that's fine. But hopefully you'll figure out the common thread in a lot of the music. I mean, I think there is a common thread in style, stylistically even, and particularly in songwriting, and through all the stuff that's on the label.
I think most of the bands are pretty like-minded politically.
Yeah. Well, I think bands seem to like you guys too. I think you come off as sincere, and that's probably appreciated. I was talking to Eric Moline yesterday a little bit, and he talked about just loving working with you guys and what you do, and the Truck Stop Love record, and everything that's been going on with that and trying to use that to put out something else. I think, is that what they're doing?
Yeah, there's another lost record that I guess they recorded at the end of the Truck Stop Love years. It never got put out. And I think that's what we've talked about, is trying to get that thing out when the time is right. I don't know what that time's going to be, but yeah, we have talked to them a little bit about doing other stuff. Because that record's been great for us. I mean, that got us a lot of attention from people that had no idea who the other band. It's been good for all the bands, I think, because that they've so far had the widest reach of any of the bands we've done.
Sure.
It's going to be a couple of weeks now before we announce it, but we've also got a record coming out. Again, this is a record that was done over a year. Well, way over a year ago. But Knife Crime's album is finally done and going to be out here this spring as well. I don't know if you guys know Knife Crime, but that's got Brad, who was our old rhythm guitar player, and Truck Love's original bass player.
Mm-hmm.
And so when he left the band a few years ago, he was doing Knife Crime off and on when he was with us. And then when he left the band about 3 years ago, or 4, I got out this last year. I guess we have to add 1 to everything you can remember.
Cool.
So him and his brother Byron, and Byron's been in like TV 50 and Lushbox and Onward, Crispin Glover.
Mm-hmm.
They have a band called Knife Crime, and this record is phenomenal. I think it's the kind of indie rock that I like. I can't stand indie rock. It's just such whiny, whiny. Just this is like a rock band playing indie rock.
It's not like honest. I mean, I think this album is really honest.
Yeah.
And it's got some balls to it too. I mean, it's one of those albums like we're going to put out, and we were talking to them on a call the other day, and it's just kind of like, yeah, if we can get this in the right hands, it should just really do well and really get you guys to the ahead a little bit. I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, I just got to get the right people to hear it. I mean, it's accessible enough. And it's different enough from most of what I hear going on in the indie rock world right now. So I think it'll stand out.
Yeah.
It's just getting people to hear it, which is, the problem with everything. But I just think this is stuff that if it gets some radio play and can get it picked up on some streaming places somewhere, I think it's got some legs, which would be great for them, because I think, they've been working this thing for, like I said, this record, I think they tried to record it at least 3 different times. I mean, there was one time that the first version was recorded in Byron's house.
Uh-huh.
And then I think he tried to mix it, and then Sean Hammondry tried to mix it for a while. And then I think they ended up over at, did Paul do this one? I can't remember. I should know this. I should know. I think they did it at Massive Sound, right, Andy?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm gonna look up the artwork just to make sure I'm not, because it's on there. I know that. I should know this.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I know it's Bandcamp Friday, and I've got a gift card that I need to finish off, and I've been trying to figure out what record I want to get.
Ooh.
Still kind of stuck on that. I'm slowly but surely collecting a lot of stuff off of Black Site.
We appreciate that.
Yeah, no, man, it's one of my favorite little indie labels.
I mean, we pretty much don't take anything off. I mean, at that point, once we're shipping them, that money's going 100% to the band. So it goes right back to them, and hopefully into another project. Or Gas Tank, or I guess at this point, not a gas tank, but yeah, we appreciate that.
Probably paying some bands rent right now if they miss the record. Like, woohoo, I can eat.
Yeah. Right. What do you think? And I guess it's kind of hard to play the game of what the actual metric is, but when you look at sales over the course of this pandemic and you look at how the business has been running, I mean, I know you said that the label's been doing well, but I mean, do you think that's just people are locked down and this is the way you're going to digest it? Do you think it's how, you've been promoting? And
yeah, I think for us, we've kind of learned a little bit more as a label about how to get our stuff out there, and some of that's been trial and error, and some of it's been some help from, people like Eric. That's like the hard thing, is just getting the stuff out there. The social media stuff is constantly changing.
Yeah.
And you can't, there's no routine to it. I mean, you'll get a couple, like for a release, you'll have a couple things you like to do. And then by the next release, you can't do this, you can't do that.
Yeah.
it's ridiculous. So much of the infrastructure is gone now too. I mean, with media that you used to be able to send press releases and all that stuff to, there's so little of that now, and it's so scattered, and it's just a really weird time. And I think ultimately, like Shawn and I were talking about the other day, just between us, it was just kind of like it's just gonna be back to pounding the pavement.
Yeah.
You know, like with this knife crime record, we were talking about how it's going to be one of those albums that, like, if you give a copy to the record store and just tell them to play it, they're going to sell records. And they're going to sell records anyway, but it's just one of those old school things that is going to be really effective for them. And then you look at other bands we've got with, you know, like Chess Club, with a little bit more like online presence and getting their people aware that they have an album out is like a whole nother thing. But I think we've learned a couple things with, I mean, we've learned a lot since Red Kate started for sure, but, you know, with the label, we've learned a lot in the last year that's kind of helped us, I think, sell some more records this year. But we've been doing pretty well with it. And again, I think I think the stuff we're putting out is, I'm a fan of, and I like the people that we're working with. So you're not selling something you're like half-hearted about.
Right.
You know, and I think that's important too. And I think I hope that people, you know, recognize that we're not trying to, this isn't like some kind of way to make money or be big fish in the pond or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's become kind of an offshoot of just being in a band. And I don't know if it's more enjoyable. Shawn does a lot more of the running around than I do, but with it, I'm sure he has an opinion on that. But yeah, I think we've learned a lot, and it's been good for us.
Well, I think the way you do it is just kind of makes it really obvious that you're sincere. Right? There's no getting around, hey, we're not making a profit off of this. We're in it to help other people out. You don't fucking do that if you're not sincere.
Right. And you don't do it if you don't like the music.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you don't, and even if you like the music, you have to like the people that you're working with in these bands, and they have to understand. They have to have a similar mindset, you know, because I couldn't work with a band who didn't understand what we're doing. If this doesn't make sense to you, if you're, you know, if you want to be a big rock star and you want all the trappings, then I probably am not going to get along with you, and I'm not going to, even I might like your music, we're not going to see eye to eye on how to do stuff, and it's not going to work.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, there is that, and I hope that gets across to people. It is one of these things, like Andy was saying about how social media constantly changes the rules, and you're, you know, things that used to work, you used to be able to do. I mean, the technical stuff of, can you tag in this kind of a post anymore? No. What happened? I don't know. We could do it last week, but now they've changed it, or, you know, that kind of crap. And those things are always changing on you. And then, you know, part of it's just, I'm starting to see, and I don't know if you guys have seen it, it's maybe lightening up a little bit, but boy, the last few months, particularly Facebook, because that's the main one that people are using, it clamped so hard on all of the political stuff or things that they thought was political.
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't even seeing posts from The Onion anymore in my feed. I kept like, what's going on? Like what happened?
Yep.
Where did everything go? Like, I'm seeing the same 10 people's posts, and that's it. I'm not seeing any music. I'm not seeing anything from anybody. I understand, you know, you understand why they're trying to do this, and hopefully they'll fine tune it and realize, you know, what to shut down, what not to block. But it had gotten to the point where, like, I don't think we post something and it goes to nobody. Like, you know, it's like, what am I supposed to do? You can't get the word out.
Right. And
so you have to go all these other forms of media, and you try, you know, and some people are over here and over there. And so, you know, I think it's been okay. I mean, one of the things that's been good for the label is that these are the first release of these bands. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of pent up, you know, No Thanks had an album before, but it was on cassette. I mean, they've sold a couple hundred of them. Mm-hmm. People really wanted their first record. So I knew we wouldn't have trouble selling that record. And then without a live show, they couldn't do a release show. You're just going to sell that many more online, right? Mm-hmm. Same thing, I think, with Chess Club. Same thing's going to happen with this band. This just came out this week, and it's already selling pretty well in the first couple of days. And, you know, that's, again, people who might wait till they play a show are just now going to buy it online. Right. So the sales are somewhat, you know, I think people who are doing okay have lots of extra money right now and want to spend it.
Right.
There's a good portion of the population, however, that doesn't, and so they're not going to buy it. Mm-hmm. How that all balances out, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I think it's too much, even just with everything that's going on. It's too much to wrap your mind around. Which hand is scratching which back, and which, I mean, I always said, for me personally, as a consumer anyway, music ever since this pandemic hit, my rationalization, but I'm not a very rational person, is, okay, I'm not driving as far this week, or not driving. So I would spend that $20 on gas. I'll buy a record. I'll buy a record for my friends.
Mm-hmm.
How many of those people are buying I don't know, Xbox credits or whatever?
Right. That's my kid.
Right.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, we're still competing with all the old media that people used to compete with before. We're not competing with the live dollar.
Yeah.
Because obviously people aren't spending that money. So that does free up some cash for people who have it. And I haven't really been making the rounds of the record store as much, just because my own trying to, stay away from people as much as possible.
Right.
I was kind of surprised a couple months ago when I was making the run with the No Thanks record to the stores in the region, and people have been buying records over the last year. I was like, wow, we sold. I was impressed. I was surprised. And then I was talking to most of the record stores are like, yeah, we're doing okay, actually. It was good to hear.
Yeah, it is.
I wasn't sure. I was really concerned. And everybody I talked to was kind of like, yeah, actually, business has been fine.
Yeah.
A little even better, some of them said. I was like, wow, that's crazy.
I know my vinyl collection has grown faster than it had in quite a while.
Sure.
In all this.
Yeah. And that's almost good enough to hear that you don't even want to ask why. It's like, especially with the shitstorm that is the world out there right now.
Yeah.
It's like, well, if that's happening and it's okay.
Good to hear.
Let's not feel it up and figure out where we're at with it. Just go with it going for now.
Yeah, I was at the record store last week. That's where I bought the Truck Stop Love record. It was right there, and I'm like, son of a bitch, I need to get this.
Yeah.
I've been meaning to. There it is. Just do it. And they had a no thanks flyer up too.
Oh, did they?
I saw that on the bulletin board.
Good. They stay up. Some stores they'll stay up at some stores. Some stores they don't last very long. I don't know. Oh, no comment about which ones last and which ones down. I don't know where that happens from.
Probably your best metric. Just call people and see how long that flyer stayed up. Was it 4 days, 5?
Yeah, and there's been, I think, a couple new stores in town too. So at least around here, I don't know if this is like everywhere.
Yeah.
Kansas City seems to have a vinyl problem anyway. There's so many stores here.
I'm kind of surprised by that. Yeah, I moved away for a number of years, come back, and it's different. Like, holy shit.
And then you go to a place like Des Moines has one.
Yeah.
Last time we were there, they had one, maybe two. Wichita has one. They don't seem to be that interested in new records from regional bands.
Yeah.
Tried a little bit. Maybe they are. I don't want to talk too much shit on them, but they weren't interested in talking to us when we were down there last time.
Right.
And Springfield has one store. The count in Kansas City right now is at least 8.
No, Springfield's got like 4 now. One of the guys, well, I forget his name, but he used to run the CD. There's a CD shop, CD music store down there back when I was playing, like 15, 20 years ago. And I think he's sold that or something. It started, and I forget the name of it now, but
oh, good.
It seems like they're doing good business from what I've seen.
There's a new store in Lawrence too, Guitarma or something. I guess it's a gear shop, but they sell some records. I haven't been in that one yet either. That's the most recent one I heard about.
Yeah, Columbia, we could use some more. I don't really know that we've got the population to push it though.
Right.
Especially with the town and gown situation of the students being gone half the time. That's a big issue here.
I think maybe the record store you're thinking about in Springfield is City Music, and that's actually co-owned by one of our friends, Joe Livingston.
Yeah, Joe. Yeah. Mr. Blonde. Yeah.
Okay.
Huh. Where is it?
On South Campbell.
I ordered a record off of him. I ordered an XTC record off of him.
Which XTC record?
It was a Dear God single, just a little collector's piece.
Collector.
Yeah.
But Joe's a really cool guy.
Yeah.
Yes, he is. Great guy. Yeah, Matt used to work with him in radio.
Yeah. Do you guys remember The Planet in Springfield?
No.
That was a long time ago.
Was it a vinyl shop or?
No, it was like a radio station, like a...
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I started playing shit down there in maybe like 03.
Oh yeah, we've gone under by then.
Okay. Yeah.
You an alternative rock station?
Yeah, they were. It was really kind of cool. It was like this station where it was just like a shitty station. It was just a shack on the outskirts of town, and basically it was like this rich guy that owned it, right? Didn't do shit with it, and his son convinced his dad to let him take over. So it was basically him taking in his huge CD collection, getting some friends together, and starting a radio station.
Wow.
I got paid in CDs and backstage passes. I didn't actually get like a check. It was right, but it was such a cool experience. Like the rules were completely different. Like you don't play the same song twice in your shift.
Right.
You have reign over what you want to play as long as it's within format. So, I mean, it was like liberating. Like that shit never happens.
I mean, that's like camp. That's like college radio type stuff.
It was college radio, but we weren't with a college at all. It wasn't a.
Oh wow! I'd never. When did you guys start?
Oh, this would have been what, early to mid 90s?
It was early 90s. Had to be definitely early 90s because I moved there about 94, 93, and the planet was barely alive.
Right, and if you were like outside of town, you probably couldn't pick it up.
Huh.
But it was so much fun working there.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it was the coolest station in town
By far.
Yeah, because I was going to say, because that time everybody was becoming an alternative station, and they basically just taken some loser, adult contemporary station and said, "Oh, we're losing money. Let's switch over." Right. And it was just like the same ads and the same cheesy promo spots, just now with lasers and
right.
Alice in Chains and mixed in. And we're like,
whoever that is, kids,
all owned by the channel.
If you guys would be still doing that kind of a pirate FM sort of freeform station in that time period, is pretty amazing.
Yeah, it was fun. And then they did get bought out by someone that wanted to do exactly what you were talking about. He had like the idea of making like a radio empire. Right. And it became Channel Z. And he was just like this guy that grew up rich, and he tried.
He had a business.
He actually had a station in Kansas City too. He had a couple in Georgia and one in Springfield and one up here, and it was all Channel Z.
Channel Z.
Is that a B-52 song?
Yeah, it's a B-52 song.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Well, it's good if they're taking their name from a B-52 song. Especially a late album B-52 song.
Right. I remember he tried to manage a band at one point. He went with the other guy from Tears for Fears. What's his name? Andrew Ridgeley, is that it? No, or is that? Am I thinking? No. I'm thinking of Wham. I don't know how I'm conflating those two.
Yeah,
he had a band. They were called the Mayfields, and that didn't go anywhere. Curtis, I don't know.
Where's the band from?
They were English band, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Because it was like half a Tears for Fears, the other guy.
Oh,
so he dumped all of his money into that,
and it didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, it bombed.
Yeah.
It only took us 25 years to figure out you couldn't make a living playing music, so.
Right. So how's everything been going with like the pressings and everything else for you guys? Shit still arriving on time? And
yeah, we moved to a new company. We're using Kindercore out of Georgia.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And so far it's been really good. We got rid of the other place because I got the last record with them. Well, yeah, because were we talking? I think the first time we talked was that after the Headlight Rivals record came out.
Yeah, I think Headlight Rivals was out.
Yeah, I think it was right around then.
We had some issues. I probably bitched about that because we had some issues with that record.
Yeah,
and that was the last one we did with them. And so we've switched again, and this company is in Georgia, and they're really good. The first pressing from No Thanks everything was great on that. The test pressings we've gotten so far for the Knife Crime and Chess Club have been really, really nice. So yeah, fingers crossed that it's going to stay. I'd love to stay with the same company for more than 3 or 4 records because it's enough work as it is when it all goes well. You do not need the hassle that comes along with it. Something being screwed up, that's for sure. So far so good. Fingers crossed. We're happy with it. But yeah, they did have they had an issue with some delay in their some of their supplies in the fall, so it kind of pushed the No Thanks record a little bit. But we didn't have a hard deadline, so it was like, okay, that's fine. There's no show. But I think there is still an issue with acetate supply because the Apollo fire happened right before in February of last year is when the Apollo factory in California burned, and that was one of the world's couple or three manufacturers of lacquer acetates that you cut masters on. And so, boy, that was our big fear at the time was, oh shit. And I'm calling our master cutting guy in February last year being like, dude, we have records coming. Can you help us out? He said, well, I got a supply. I'll put you down for X number. We'll keep the price the same. Me and a bunch of other independent guys are kind of working together to pool our resources. But he had said already by that point, the price gouging had begun. People were paying 3 or 4 times the cost. I mean, these things already cost like $120 a piece anyway.
Right. And
people were paying $400, $500, $600, $800 for a lacquer.
Wow.
And it's like, shit. Yeah. So he's like, I'm not going to do that to you. I got a lot of small customers. I can't do that to them. I'm like, yeah, appreciate it. So I think there's still a tight supply. Like we don't do reference acetates anymore, which is that first cut that the master guy would give you, and you get to hear how he cut the record.
Oh, okay.
And you can play it, and you can, and it's super soft, and you don't really want to play it too many times, and you got to be super careful with it. But it will tell you like what this record sounds like now on vinyl. Did he cut it right? Is there sibilance? Do we have issues with distortion on the interior of the track? And of the side, things like that. We skip that now because we can't afford an extra set.
Well, plus he's really good at cutting records, and we've never had any issues either. So yeah,
we kind of just don't need to do it because like I trust the guy. We've been using the same guy cutting now for every project, and every record's been awesome. So now we just wait to hear it till we get a test pressing because it's the same disc that they actually plate. So we hear it. If you hear reference acetate, you tell him we like it, and he cuts it again. And then sends that one.
I see.
He gets another one and sends it off to the plant and gets it plated. So now he just does that from the beginning. And when they press a test pressing, we hear it and go, "Oh, it sounds great, thanks." It saves us a couple $100, So
yeah.
But I guess that's still an issue out there. I don't know the latest.
I'm sure you guys know more than we do, just running a record company. But I mean, I did talk to some people, who are doing their own DIY labels and stuff. A lot of them are ordering pressings out of places like Italy. Apparently a lot of pressings going on over there, and then just lost their ass when international shipping died essentially. And it didn't matter what they had on order.
I think there is some source of acetates over there. There's also the fact that there's that press in Czechoslovakia which does direct to metal mastering, which is what Pirates Press uses, and so you don't have to use acetates. I imagine their business, well, who knows, you're right, the shipping probably hurt them. But they probably also I assume, saw a lot more activity after that fire because they don't need an acetates.
Yeah.
They're cutting into metal. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't really talked to our guy in a while. I need to give him a call, and he'll always chew my ear off for an hour about the latest and what's going on, but I haven't talked to him in probably 10 months.
Well, you're supposed to have your finger on the pulse of everything that's going on in the world of pressing records.
Well, how's the cassette game going right now?
Yeah, that's interesting.
We haven't had a cassette out in a while. I know that. Oh, who is it down in Springfield there, Shawn?
Is it National Audio?
Yeah. I know that the last one we did, it was like the first time ever that they were kind of run their time frames were expanding. Well, and one of the things too is we always ordered. They had it was like an old stock supply of super high bias tape or whatever, and I guess
chrome tape.
They had run out. They had some on order, or they were making their own or something like that, and that they were running into a couple supply things, and I think that all got hammered out. But it was interesting because tapes are so popular now that they were having a good problem where they're picking up a lot more work.
Yeah.
Well,
and I think when we talked to Joe, who's down there, he was saying they were basically the last man standing in the cassette game.
They were, yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Well, I guess so. The Chrome, whoever made Chrome tape, which I think was BASF or somebody like that, who actually made the tape. I don't know when they stopped making it, but that's gone now. So all of the high bias chrome tape is gone. And when you go back to that normal ferrous metal tape, it's a real quality drop.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were supposedly developing some new high bias ferric oxide tape that was supposed to be better. That's what they were touting it as. They were developing it themselves down there at National Audio. And I don't know much about it. I think our last tape we did came out on that. Would that have been the Humminbird tape?
Yeah, that was on the that was the last one, and that's when I was talking to them, and they were telling me about the supply issue.
And that's kind of all related to the Barker Gee scholarship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was on the Barker G scholarship. That's what has that been, about a year and a half now? That one's been out 2 years maybe. That's still going too, and
good.
We're looking for some projects on that right now. Unfortunately, I think with the scholarship, it's usually we're looking for younger bands, and with nobody playing live, it's hard to scout bands and hear about anybody because nobody's playing. So
no, that makes sense.
Yeah, like how do you find out a band if you're not playing show?
Right. I talked to Barker's dad a couple weeks ago. It was like just a week ago, and he was asking about how it was going, and I told him, I'm like, well, it's right now, it's just everybody's on hold. I mean, we want to help younger people with any facet of music. I mean, putting out, it's not just putting out tapes and albums or recording. I mean, it's helping them with gas money or touring, and it's pretty much everything's been shut down. Obviously, as we've been talking about.
Right.
Yes, kind of been slow going. Like Shawn was saying, 100% of what we're going to be putting out as a label was already kind of in the works before all this COVID stuff hit.
Mm.
And we've got other stuff kind of lined up. But as far as the scholarship thing goes, it's been kind of waiting around, hurry up and wait kind of thing. So
yeah, no, I certainly can't blame you for that. If so many more things are shut down, I wouldn't worry about that. It's going to have to be one of those things on hold.
I'm just trying to figure out what bands are going to be around. I mean, older folks that like us that, we're established bands and we have stable lives. Like it's easy for us to pick the band back up. But if you're younger kids who, hell, who knows who's had to move somewhere because they get a job. I mean, some of these don't even know what bands, it's like, we're all talking about what kind of venues are going to be around if this is over. What bands are going to be around? That's going to be the question. Right. What bands are going to survive this?
And when are they going to get a turn?
Right.
I mean, we were talking that a little bit about like Nathan Calhoun. We were talking a little bit about that, how, the power players in like cities like Austin, the big bands have been there for a while. They're going to take control of those clubs for a minute before anybody else gets a slot.
Yep.
And that's going to suck too for a while, even when everything's open. It's like, yeah, well, we can book you around, November.
On a Tuesday? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's certainly going to suck. No, it's still a good thing that it's going, man. I'm glad you can keep it going. It's a really good cause.
I think, necessity breeds creativity or something like that. And I mean, there's going to be a lot of DIY venues.
Oh, yeah.
Popping up over the week.
Pop-ups, yeah.
People are going to try out all kinds of stuff. Most of them won't stick. But my guess is that, because of, clubs that have closed means fewer places to play, but also the demand for bands wanting to do shows and they can't book a gig at a regular venue.
Yeah.
They're going to like, all right, well, we're going to figure out, and all these retail spaces are going to be available. A lot of empty commercial spots that you can get your hands on one.
Right.
Yeah. So know the landlords. Yeah. Give me $50 and throw a party.
Yeah. Bring back the $5 party.
Yeah.
There are some things to look forward to, I think.
Uh-huh.
I keep trying to talk my wife into we just bought a new house and it's got like this patio in the back that would be perfect for a band to play on. And I keep thinking, gosh, backyard's just right. The patio's just right. I haven't been able to sell her on it yet.
I don't blame
you. Yeah.
I don't either, actually. It's a long shot, but I still dream.
Still a lot more winter to go. She might come around.
I don't know. I talked my wife into it too. It's like I saw that the Descendants like listed that they would play a certain pretty cheap price. I don't even remember what it was, but I was like, just a few $1,000s. Like, I can get the Descendants to come play in my backyard.
Oh wow!
And I was like, I could make that money back, and no, I could. My wife was like, where are all these people gonna piss?
Desmond and I, our guitar player with Red Kate, we're doing we're forming up a Motorhead cover thing.
Oh, cool.
Just to stay sane.
Cool.
With Red Kate, we've kind of established certain rules with practice where, as far as germs and the size of the room and all that.
Right.
So I was like, look, guys, we got to be I'm very specific about where we're going to practice. And Des is like, well, we can practice in my basement. And I was like, well, how does your wife feel about that? And he's like, well, hang on. And then he comes out and he's like, yeah, she loves Motorhead. And I'm like, I'm just shaking my head. Like, you know what you're getting into, but
Yep.
So your wife's
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we got not quite the same, but that reminds me of Andy. You and I were talking for a while, when I was figuring out my son getting drums.
Oh yeah.
You were really helpful in me trying to figure out what the best setup was for him, and he's going at it, man. We've got drums in the basement, and he's banging on them, getting better.
Yeah, do good.
Neighbor informed me they could hear him the other day, but that they liked it, so that was nice.
Yeah, that could be. They might be being passive aggressive on that, but I've heard that before.
Sure.
Oh, it's nice.
Yeah, I like it.
It's a very good time you have.
Who likes just drums? Nobody likes just drums.
Yeah.
Sounds good, kiddo. We look forward to hearing that next week some more.
Oh, I think it was a lady who had a kid that played drums, and so it made her nostalgic. And she could only hear it when she's in her yard.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's just very good.
I don't know.
Play a different beat. Oh my God.
Well, at least they know I said something. No, he is getting good though.
He is.
How old is he?
11.
Yeah, that's about when I started. I think I was 11 or 12.
What's driving me nuts is when nobody's in the room, he'll find all kinds of ways to cheat on his practice.
Uh-huh.
I caught him. I walked in, and so the way it's set up is there's a couch fairly close to his drum set. He pulled the couch close to the drum set, was leaning over backwards and banging on just to, because we're upstairs, not knowing what he's doing, and he's just kind of randomly hitting shit behind him.
Like Ferris Bueller and it.
Like, what the hell are you doing, man? What? I'm practicing. Just trying to play it off.
I told you they'll roll. Yeah, it's always like, oh, I want this, I want that, and then then they get bored with it, and then it's always if they come back. If they come back, then usually that's how it was with me, and I was really into it, and then I stopped, and then just picked it up again, and I haven't stopped playing since. So I think that's kind of how it goes with kids and instruments.
Yeah.
And he does that, and he's fortunately got a pretty good teacher that's pretty good. We kind of made it, if you want to stop, you're the one that's going to have to talk to him about it and let him know.
That's a good move.
So he had to have that conversation, and then his teacher's like, "Well, let's try. I'm really surprised because you're really just coming along. So really built him up, and then tried to figure out what he could do to make it more interesting for him. And by the end of it, he was like, "I'm excited to going back to drum lessons."
There you go. Yeah, you got a good teacher. Yeah, my mom or my dad made me. I wanted to play drums, and my dad he still plays guitar, but he was in a band at 6th grade, so I've always been around it in hauling gear, and he was in a rock cover band, and it wasn't lame rock, it was Moody Blues and The Who and stuff like that. So
right on.
I told him I wanted to play drums, and he's like, well, you got to play a year of piano and learn some theory before we do that, thinking that I would just forget about the drums. And then so that the day the year came up, I was I had a lesson that day, and I was like, it's a year. And my mom's like, she did the same thing. She goes, well, then you got to tell your teacher that you're gonna quit. Yeah. And I'm like, give me the phone. And I did it.
Done and done.
And I really regret it. I really regret it, honestly, because just I know a little bit, but some of it's just being around people who know music, and I'm in practice with with this band, and I'm just kind of I have an idea, but I can't I can't convey it,
Right.
So,
Transpose it. Yeah.
But that's my story on that. But I got the drums and never. But
I might have to have you come over sometime and make sure that his kit's put together right, because I catch him like unscrewing stuff constantly, and I have to put it back together or try to figure it. And I think I'm getting it back together right, but I'm not positive.
Yeah. As long as he doesn't like sell stuff,
Yeah.
then you're fine. But
yeah. I was going to say, at least he's trying to appease you by cheating.
Yeah. That's a sign of
he could not be doing shit at all.
Right. He's going to have a recording set up sometime.
Yeah.
That's a sign of respect.
All right. Oh, so the Knife Crime and also the Chess Club. Any idea or like estimate on when that's going to drop?
Chess Club, we are shooting. I think we set a date of March 23rd at this point. That might float a little bit. We should have the records in a couple of 3 weeks. I'm not too worried about it. So it'll probably be March 23rd unless something goes wrong.
Okay.
And then Knife Crime we're gonna announce Knife Crime's pre-sale stuff in about 2 weeks, I think is the plan. 2 or 3 weeks, something like that.
Okay.
We're going to try to get it out the week of, so I think Record Store Day is the 17th of April. So we're going to try to get it out that week beforehand so we can get it into stores.
Okay.
That's the plan. Those are in production. Fred's record is still ambiguous because we haven't actually started the production process yet, but I think 6 months from now it'll be ready. Is my guess. I think maybe sooner. So sometime late July, August, Fred's record will be ready.
Right on.
I finally heard the whole thing the other day, the first time, and I was just like, damn, it's really good. I mean, so much Americana can just be so full of cliche and just so boring.
Right.
Like, no, the lyrics are contrived and the melodies and the strong song structures. And this is just like, Oh, that was good. That was a nice turn. Oh, I like the way this. Oh, and I know where this is going. It's here, and that's how I would do this song. Like it. And then the lyrics are like, oh, I wish I could write stuff like he's writing. So I just love that record. I think it's gonna be fantastic. And so all these are really good. They're really going to be interesting.
Yeah. Yep. And then maybe a Red Kate record.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Hopefully.
Yes.
That's the plan. That is the plan.
That'll be cool.
Yeah, keep us updated on that. I definitely want to hear.
Yeah, we've got. What we have? How many? We have 8 songs recorded.
I don't know,
6 or 7. We have like stuff in the tank that's done, and some of it's almost done, and then all recorded. We just need really to record maybe 3 or 4 more, and we'd have a full album. So,
right on.
It's just a matter of getting that done.
Still sounds like it's going to be a big spring, big summer, big year for Black Site.
Yeah, it will be. It will be.
Hopefully, if all those other moons align with the vaccine rollout and everything else.
Yep, got my shot.
Oh, yeah? Which one did you get?
The Pfizer one. My wife got the other one.
Oh, so you can compare notes.
Yeah.
Yeah, she just got her second shot yesterday, and she's kind of feeling like shit.
She told me she was going to die.
Yeah.
You cut that out if you want to.
Everybody says second shots are real doozy, man.
That's what I heard. The second one kind of knocks you out.
Yeah. I haven't gotten mine yet. And it's weird because we're kind of in the same social service, type thing and being a teacher. Well, I pretty much got this email from MU the other day that was like, well, we know you're in the tier we're vaccinating right now, but we're out. They're just, we'll get a hold of you soon enough. I hate to bitch about it too much because, whoever gets it when they get it, great.
Yeah.
That's the whole idea. Everybody needs to get it anyway.
One less person that can infect me is why I look at it.
Exactly. And then on top of that, it's just I know by the time I really start bitching, it's going to come out and I'm going to sound like an asshole, and I'm going to get mine. It'll be that one post, why haven't I got my shot yet? And then, they'll call me the next day.
Yeah, I think Andy and I are scheduled sometime for June.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't fit any of the categories. I don't think Andy fits any of the categories.
What the tier is.
Yeah, I think I'm on tier 12 or something. So
yeah, wants to go to bar doesn't.
Yeah.
For inoculation.
They'll scrape off just the drops out of all the other syringes and put them together, shake them up.
It used to be you would go to the bar and that's how you would stay healthy. So
there you go. Somebody posted something to that effect on Facebook earlier tonight that was like, if they just put the vaccine in beers and open the bars up again,
Right.
just watch everybody.
I think we've tried that already. That didn't work.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, well,
We didn't have the vaccine in the beer. That's what we can figure that out. Yeah, man. Matt, did you have anything else? I hate to keep these guys on all night.
No, I think we're good. We kind of keep in touch anyway. I see you guys pretty regularly online, just not in person.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Same thing for everybody, though.
Yeah.
We will be, man. As soon as we get up there to a show. Yeah, I'm jealous I didn't get to go to that show with Matt.
I'm hoping maybe this spring we'll be able to do something outside.
That'd be cool.
I don't know where exactly or what. I mean, Lemonade Park, I'm sure will open back up, and I'm sure it'll be booked already. And that place is nice. Have you been to a show there yet?
I haven't.
No, Matt hasn't. I haven't either. I don't live there.
It's well set up. I mean, they did it by the book, so it's as safe as you could possibly make it. It does make it a bit of a weird experience because everybody's really far from the stage.
Yeah.
And I don't know for us if that's really the environment. I just feel like for a high energy band like what we like to do, like I just think I'd feel really weird, like just playing to people sitting down 30 feet away from it,
Right.
But I'm kind of hoping maybe there's some other, maybe less formal outdoor places that we might be able to put a show on somewhere.
Right.
Where people, everybody's going to show up and be smart, like everybody's going to have a mask on. Nobody's going to be in front spitting on the band and shit.
Right.
Right.
Would you be bringing anybody else with you? Man, that last show, top to bottom, everybody on that bill was really good.
We brought the guys from Wichita, right? I was
Yeah. Or what was it?
Mad City Cruisers.
Mad City Cruisers. Yes.
Yeah, and they put out an album over the summer, just pretty hot, digital, online thing. Yeah, because it was them and it was an arson class, right?
Yeah, and then like Kids.
Oh yeah,
you got them on the last second too.
Chernobyl Dogs.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to see that. I was all excited about that band too. It's like, I don't get to see them again for a year, so I don't know. Again, will that be a band that's around when this is over? I hope.
Yeah, that's a good example. They were good though. Yeah,
they were good.
Yeah, man. If I can get a couple shots in me and and a couple vaccines, I'll be there. Mask on
for sure. Yeah, that would show us how we got to know Chris in arson class too.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, you guys want to wrap it up?
Yeah.
Are you good?
Good time.
Anything else you wanted to drop or anything else you wanted to bring up?
I'm kind of surprised we didn't go Insurrection. Probably for the best that we didn't.
Probably.
That was just a shit show. I've got my opinion on all that crap, but to me, it was just kind of a culmination of the last 4 years and
40 years.
Right.
Yeah, early 90s.
Oh, fuck. It goes back to Reagan.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my starting point. And 10 years old, it goes back to Nixon, so it's all.
Well, yeah.
It was something that kind of, to me, just kind of like, and Shawn made this point too, and, we were texting, he's like, it just kind of had to happen almost.
Yeah.
It drew a line that's like, here's the line. Everybody else on this side saw what's going to happen.
Right.
Like, you didn't see it on your own side, but here's the line.
Right.
Well, and it's not that we shouldn't have a conversation about those things, but it just wears no clothes.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's like, what's the fucking point? Like my grandfather used to say, roll around the mud with a pig. The pig's going to love it, and you're just going to get dirty.
Exactly.
Well, it shifts the conversation too from moral equivalency because it's not.
Yeah.
There isn't much to discuss. Like if there's a debate,
right?
I don't want to talk to you.
Right.
There's nothing to debate here. We all know what happened.
Both sides do it. Both sides are just as bad. No.
Yeah. We're even playing devil's advocate with the actual devil is what you're doing.
No, that's a lazy argument.
Right.
Yeah, it's the intellectual retirement home of arguments.
Well, I'm glad we can agree on that because it just would have sounded grumpy.
Yeah.
So we did go there.
Yeah, I guess we did.
Oh, yeah.
Sorta. We could have gone a lot deeper.
Yeah.
Oh, we could do hours.
Yeah, I would be here another 3 hours. And nobody would feel satisfied at the end.
Right.
Well,
yeah. I had to buy my talking about 3 bad times.
He's been doing a couple spots on the local public TV out here with
That show got canceled.
the Rumpus or whatever it was called.
Yeah, the Rumpus Room got canceled in May.
Oh, bummer.
No, it sucks. That was a show I really wish I could have been on this fall because the assholes that are on that show are just infuriating. They canned that show. I'm just doing the Heartland Labor Forum now. I'm going to interview somebody about the new labor secretary in a couple weeks, Marty Walsh.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know who I'm going to interview yet. I've got to find a guest.
All right.
He sounds like he's going to be pretty interesting dude for a labor secretary. So
Yeah.
that'd be pretty cool. He's an old buildings trade guy, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. As president of the Buildings Trades Union in Boston, I was the mayor, and it'll be interesting to see what happens there with labor. I hope there's actually some progress for a change. We'll see.
Sounds interesting, man. We'll check it out.
Yeah, it's Thursday nights on KKFI. It's the Heartland Labor Forum's been on the air since 1989.
Wow.
It's an all volunteer run radio show on labor issues.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I've been doing it since I moved back here, so for like 15 years. I do a show every couple months. It's pretty fun. Talked to a lot of interesting folks that knew a lot of crazy detail about history of law, and some of these stories too. You could talk to these guys about like these big union fights and stuff that happened, and what worked and what didn't, and so you learn a lot about organizing too, which is kind of fascinating. All the different techniques and stuff that's happening. Ones that do work and ones that don't. It's overall kind of a sad story just because the decline is where it's at. Yeah. So
yeah, hopefully some of that's going to turn around. Thanks everybody for listening to Undetermined the podcast. Andrew, Shawn, thanks again for coming on.
Red Kate.
Much love to
you
Red
guys.
Kate, Black Site Records. Please check out their shit. Amazing catalog. Some great regional bands and other. Thanks for coming on, guys.
thank you for having us. Thanks for doing
Thanks
this.
very much.
Sure.